Hello, I'm Riyadh Khalaf, and earlier this year I surprised pretty much everyone I know and myself when I went and won Celebrity Masterchef. I'm here today to talk to you about something very special that involves food. Since the summer of 2019, the Attitude Magazine Foundation has donated almost £20,000 to the food chain. They're a London-based charity that helps support people living with HIV to get the nutrition that they need to get well, stay well, and live healthy, independent lives. So Siobhan, you're the big boss lady, the CEO of the food chain. Tell us what it is that you do here.
At the food chain, we provide support for people living with HIV at times of crisis in their life, often a health crisis, but sometimes related to other matters like income, housing, perhaps immigration status. And the help is all about providing food and nutrition support for people. That can take a whole range of different aspects, but basically we like to connect with people, make sure they've got access to good food, and that they can have some learning and support and social contact with other people at a time when they're feeling very isolated and alone.
How many people do you help, say, on a yearly basis?
In a typical year, we'll be helping support around about 350 people who get referred to us.
Big family.
The food chain is a big family, right enough. And in this year, we're already supporting around about 500 families because of the COVID-19 crisis. We've seen a huge increase in need.
So Neil, what brought you to the food chain in the first place?
My hospital referred me.
So before you came here, do you think that you had some nutritional issues?
Yeah, sure. It's probably not eating the right foods. It was good to come here because it gave me an education on how to be healthy and stay healthy, and especially as I've suffered with depression in the past and anxiety. So eating good food can relieve that.
Tell me why you refer your patients to the food chain.
Before lockdown, we were referring people because they were low on income, they were low on funds, they didn't have resources sometimes to feed themselves or their family, but also for the social interaction that the food chain often provides was really important to them, feeling part of the community, being able to attend the food chain for meals, being able to learn skills around cooking and shopping and providing their own food.
How big of a blow would it be to you, your colleagues and the people who use the food chain if they ran out of money and couldn't continue to function?
Well, I think it would be a disaster for our sector and for many of our patients because of its legacy is at the heart and soul of the HIV community. This organisation is really very well loved, so there would be a huge hole in all of our hearts, I think.
The 2020 Virgin Atlantic Attitude Awards, powered by Jaguar, premieres on World AIDS Day. And no matter how we're all feeling right now, the HIV and AIDS crisis was the first pandemic in modern times. Millions of people died, and currently millions of people are living with HIV. And the food chain, they're at the front line, a small charity with a big heart and an even bigger reach. And they're just one example of how Attitude pumped money back into the LGBTQ+ community, not leaving our family behind. But we can't do it without you. So if you can, please donate £5 by texting Attitude5 to 70480. We promise your money will be used carefully and wisely. So please donate and help Attitude to continue supporting people on the front line. Thank you.